breathing on the back of rednecks, and now we flexing. Use a Roman soldier, boy, your pedigree I'm checking. I'm your mother, I brought you life, I hope you learned your lesson. 100 years from now, you gon' need your mama's blessings. I don't need no Smith & Wesson.
My beloved brothers and sisters, welcome to our show. You know what? In episode 1, I think I got ahead of myself a little bit. I'm talking about the elaborate, the majestic, the royal civilization of the Moors. I don't think I explained that to you before I jumped into George Washington and Cherry Tree. I was really excited. So, who am I talking to? I asked myself. I'm talking to a diverse group of people that I don't even know. So, in order for me to communicate properly, whatever medium I'm doing, whether it be radio, TV, or just talking to someone, I have to have effective communication, no matter what the medium is. This is not to say that I'm better than you. I just have a disclaimer to make. No one can say anything bad about me because I'm offering this show in peace, and everybody listening to my show will always know Galatians 4:16. And that's coming out of the King James Version Bible. So those of you who do not have a Bible, let me go ahead and read that for you just a second. Okay, Galatians 4:16 says, "Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?" Now, before we get back into going into the George Washington and the Cherry Tree again, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit more background information. We must first begin training by discussing change in and of itself in order to prepare your psyche. The truth is that most people resist change. No one actually enjoys the process of change because change means doing something different than you normally do, and most of us resist that with an absolute passion. But I do want you to understand, I understand for yourself and for me, that change can be a hassle. But I also want to give you guys some information on non-readers in this country. I found this information several years back, first on Facebook, I think it was, and then I looked it up myself. And I just want to give you guys some very startling statistics, and I'm sure from 2004 up into 2017, currently, those statistics have gotten exactly worse. So let's go into some of that. 33% of high school graduates never read another book the rest of their lives after getting out of school. 42% of college grads never read a book after college. Wow. 57% I should correct myself, of new books are not read to completion. Not that that's necessarily anything wrong with that, because I do that myself, but if you never read a book, then I would suggest that you try to read it to completion. That's a little joke. 70% of U.S. adults have not been in a bookstore the last 5 years. 80% of U.S. families did not buy or read a book last year. And all of us know that, you guys know that my story was I grew up reading books, that most children don't read, and they're never read to by their parents. So I think that going forward and moving forward, that we as adults must get back to reading to our children and talking to our children. Before I get into reading George Washington and Cherry Tree, I know you guys are really excited about getting into that next chapter, but for those of you who were not here last week, then I just want to give you about 2 or 3 little sentences that will bring you sort of back to where we're going to start off today, if that's okay with everyone. So we started out into on page 289, and I'm coming out of the Synchronicity and the Seventh Seal by Peter Moon, and the chapter was called A History Lesson, and we were talking about George Washington and the Cherry Tree. Some of you may have heard of George Washington and Cherry Tree, but you never thought for one moment, oh, well, he's just chopping down a real cherry tree. I know that's what I thought. But it actually means more than that. It goes deeper than that, and it's meaningful for certain people here on this planet. So we started out, and I just want to give you 3 little things. Morocco was the first country that recognized the United States, if you guys didn't know that. And when they did, Washington was actually presented with a flag. It was a red flag. that was put into a vault. Okay, that's number one I want you to think about. The next thing I want you to think about, that Morocco was long home of the Moors, and after the purge of 1492, many fled back to their homeland. But a lot of their brethren and relatives were left here. So what does that tell you automatically? When they came here, somebody was already here. Wonder who that was. As the United States was asserting and gaining its independence, from who? The Sultan of Morocco was hearing all of these stories coming from over here, from all the people that were here that was, relatives of his, and saying that, America was, over here just causing all kind of havoc with them, enslaving them, not allowing them to come home or whatever. So George Washington knew all of this, but what did he do? He did not respond. So this is where we're going to pick up today, because he was actually given the opportunity to allow the people here to reclaim their status, their nationality, and their names. So we're going to start back at that particular point today.
More TV, more real MCs, more love, more truth, peace to Drew Ali. We need that more TV.
Yo, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Special announcement, man, to all of my fly people out there staying up to date with the latest and greatest on apparel and footwear. Now, let me tell you something real quick. For the first time, you can walk beyond the less beaten path with style. No longer do you have to walk the streets mimicking the footwear of others. For the first time, you can be unique. For the first time, you can walk with class. You can walk with style. And literally, there is no strings attached. With that being said, my friends, I introduce to you the Moorish Fish by Vintage P. Huck Apparel, man. Now, this is a one-of-a-kind, handcrafted sneaker that will ensure that style and comfort and uniqueness are all one and the same. Now, guys, look, from the standout colors to the soft brushed leather to the unique imitation fish scale pattern, you will find that the Moorish Fish is the dopest sneaker to hit the streets right now, man. So make sure you check it out, man, at vintagephhuck.com. And you can also check out the social media channels, man. Go show support, go show some love, and finally be unique. Now let me ask you something. You ever feel like you're a fish out of the water? Well, it's time to embrace that feeling with Moorish Fish sneaker by Vintage P. Huck Apparel.
Feel good, man. Follow, go watch your back.
Reveal. Need 100 shows so we can fly on a jet. Fuck with you, girl. You always ready for sex. Small talk, success to us.
Question in my head, like, what is Filecoin? What is this thing? I understand cryptocurrency. I understand an unregulated form of currency. I understand peer-to-peer transactions online. But what is Filecoin? And so, basically, what it is there's a huge amount of value in this cryptocurrency space with trading and exchanging different forms of currency, different times of acquisition, different times of selling. It's very similar to the stock market. So there's people over the last 5-6 years that became very successful trading currencies via different platforms. And so what it is there'll be a big trade that takes place, and you'll hear about it next week. And they try to mirror it, but the opportunity came and passed. Very similar to stocks. So what happened with Filecoin? Filecoin gives you the opportunity. It blends the social networking element with the purely financial element of being involved and being aware of great opportunities with socializing people that know about the great opportunities. So what it is, it's a mix, and it's a platform where you can follow successful traders. You already know the top 10 traders in cryptocurrency, and if you don't, they'll be listed, or the top 50, or the top 100, however dynamic you want to be. Nipsey, good to meet you. What up, I'm Nipsey. Yeah.
I'm sitting down too with Roos Marijn.
Right.
This is like the design table.
Right.
For example, Seeger is making like Insta posts right there.
Yeah.
Finn is working on a client of us.
Currency. There's less than 1% penetration, and that's a fact because I can't spend Bitcoin here. I gotta still spend US dollars or MasterCard credit or, established credit. Any one of these stores, there's no penetration in the real world. But there's a $27 to $800,000 increase in investment in this space. But there's a 1% penetration in the real world. So what happens when it gets 5% real world? When more people can spend their cryptocurrency at the store, at the restaurant, on the airplane, which is why we came to Amsterdam, because there's a city out here where the whole city is cryptocurrency friendly. And this is an example of what's gonna happen to the rest of the world. And we think that if you get in now, when the value spreads, when the accessibility spreads, you'll be sitting on the right chair. And being out here further brought that to my attention, reinforced my belief in it, and we put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah. We rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh. The gods are back, the Moors are strapped. We waking up, and we want our land back. Running off at the trap, them gods don't like that.
So here we go for our next chapter today. After all normal diplomatic channels had been exhausted, Morocco seized the various Americans in their ships and held them for ransom. This got the attention of the Americans, and it worked. A peace treaty was worked out and guaranteed that any U.S. citizen in Morocco would be declared a free American citizen if he presented himself to the U.S. consulate and demonstrated his citizenship. It preserved the rights of all Americans in Morocco. In diplomacy, there is a principle called reciprocity, which means that citizens of different countries will be treated in kind. The U.S. Secretary of State clearly stated in his own handwriting that any Moroccan national would be treated the same as any U.S. citizen in Morocco. In this respect, the so-called apothegm legend of Noble Drew Ali is astonishingly backed up. The above encourages us to seriously consider another story passed down through antiquity. This concerns a meeting that Drew Ali had with Woodrow Wilson. Noble Drew Ali claimed to have written a letter to President Woodrow Wilson and asked him for the Moroccan flag. The Wilson connection is once again ironic because President Wilson was a known KKK sympathizer who endorsed the racist movie Birth of a Nation, which featured a white supremacist by the name of Ben Cameron. There is an account that Noble Drew Ali actually met with President Wilson and asked for the flag. And I think this is what most of you have heard up until this point, that Noble Drew Ali did go and ask for the flag. So now you know, according to history lesson, that he did actually ask for that flag. When Wilson and his people asked him what flag he was talking about, Ali told them it was hidden in their vault. After going to the vault room, the president's men bought out all sorts of flags. But he told them it was much older. As they dug deeper, they came upon a red flag and said it was the flag of Morocco. Ali is said to have stated, "I am here for the Moorish flag, that which you called a cherry tree." The full account of this lesson is a little suspicious because it indicates that the Moroccan flag was red with a green star. At the time of George Washington, here you go people, the Moroccan flag that would have been given to the president was only plain red. Some say to honor the blood of the Prophet of Islam. This indicates that a black faction may have been embellishing what happened because the green star was only added to the Moroccan flag around or after this meeting with President Wilson was said to have occurred. The ostensible reason for adding a green pentagram was that the international seafaring community had problems with the plain Moroccan flag, as it confused mariners who already had their own established use for red flags. And those of you who are boaters know that the red and white flag out there signifies something. The embellishing of the Drew Ali story was not really necessary if they had appealed to a higher truth. A more astute observer would have realized that the green pentagram added to the red flag is even more significant. Accordingly, Morocco adopted the pentagram, which they called the Seal of Suleiman, and colored it green to honor the color of Islam. Without actually observing all of the actual history concerning this bizarre synchronicities involved with the cherry tree, it is very hard to say how much of what occurred with it is intentional. It is quite clear, however, that some outside force was orchestrating a synchronicity that could not easily be explained. This will become clearer as the story develops. Now we're going to stop right there because, again, after we go through one paragraph, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit at a time so that you can digest all of this, because this is really, really cool and really great information. We'll start at our next paragraph on our next episode. And what I wanted to also tell you guys too is that reading is definitely fundamental. And you guys, if you just start to just do a little bit, just get those small books first and get yourself and your mind set on reading, then I think that it will become an everyday habit. And an everyday habit takes 21 days to cure. So if you start today, 21 days from now, you'll be reading something, at least one paragraph like we're doing here. So I hope you guys are really excited. I hope you invite your 7 of your friends for next week, like we had asked you to do for this week. And I hope you guys are really going to enjoy the show as we get better at doing this. I'm not an actress, I guess you can figure that out. But I love doing what I do, and I'm looking forward and so excited about getting you guys into the habit of reading. In closing, intelligence rules the world, and ignorance carries its burden.
What if our founding fathers were in possession of a secret that, if revealed, would expose all the lies in American history? A secret that the members involved took a blood oath to keep hidden. What if all the evangelical and Christians in this country woke up and read the United States of America, Tripoli Treaty, Article 11? What is the real history behind the secret letter of George Washington? Why is America's oldest and unbroken treaty with Morocco of all countries? And who are the Moors? What is the mystery, the history, and the secret of the cherry tree? On December 25th, the lie ends where it began. George Washington and the secret of the cherry tree.
education of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh. The gods are back, the Moors are strapped. We waking up, and we want our land back.
Welcome back to our show and our entertainment segment. I would like to introduce to you guys today Judah Bay, our very own, who's going to be singing for us. But before he gets started, I'd like to know, how long have you been singing and what prompts you to sing?
Well, that's a good question. I was about 3 years old and we was living in my grandparents' house. And Dad said I'd never said mama or dada or nothing. And it was kind of suspect the first time I heard it because my grandfather told me I was 21. I heard it again, I was about 23 from my aunt. Then my mom said it in front of the whole family with my grandma there. But that was like we was walking out the house and once, twice, 3 times, a lady was playing on the hi-fi, and I started singing the whole song.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course, the first time Papa told me that, I was like, yeah, right, Papa. Okay, look at my lip. But then, also my mother created Destiny's Child as Girls Time, so she's the person that discovered Beyonce and Kelly and, Latavia.
Yeah.
And make a long story short, watching her go in and out of the studio, write songs and put things together, it kind of gave me a zeal. Grew up going to the Jack the Rapper conventions and.
Wow, so you just really love to sing then, right?
I love music.
Well, we're going to let you do your thing, okay? And I'm going to step on out of here and let you do your thing. We're so excited and fired up about hearing it.
Lord, one time, Judah. You know that Babylon is in them streets, so while you're praying, pray with your gun out. You know that Babylon play for keeps, so while you're praying, pray with your gun out. Every day's a test, it's just a test to keep your breath. So while you're praying, pray with your gun out. Keep yourself in check because your veterans help your chest. So whilst you pray, boy, see every day the same old mess. Girl after girls keep telling dress. You want to do what you want, no stress. You see the Babylon kick up the plex now. Don't want no war, me no want to bloodshed. Rude boy heart kind of taking friendly instead. Now don't want to play games with rude boy, no why. Don't want to play games with rude boy, no why. Them see him praying, Lord, they see me praying. You know that Babylon is in them streets, so while you're praying, pray with your gun out. You know that Babylon play for keeps, so while you're praying, pray with your gun out. Every day's a test, it's just a test to keep your breath. So while you're praying, pray with your gun out. Keep yourself in check because your veterans help your chest. So whilst you pray, boy, perilous journey, dog, the long dark road called a life, that's what wise man told. Want to live right, but men kill for nothing. Rude boy will run, but must stand for something. Why? Now you can try, but you can't run from Babylon. Now you can try, but you can't run from Babylon. Just keep on praying, Lord, just keep on praying. You know that Babylon is in them streets, so while you're praying, pray with your gun out. You know that Babylon play for keeps, so while you're praying, pray with your gun out. Every day's a test, it's just a test to keep your breath. So while you're praying, pray with your gun out. Keep yourself in check because your vests help your chest. So whilst you pray, boy, perilous journey, dog, the long dark road called a life, that's what wise man told. Want to live right, but then kill for nothing. Rude boy will run, but must stand for something. Foreign in lingua, foreign in land, domestic in problem, poor man bloodshed. Don't say little more to hope. Hope you're not dead. Together we solve problem, not crabs in bucket. Why? Now you can try, but you can't run from Babylon. Now you can try, but you can't run from Babylon. Just keep on praying, Lord. Just keep on praying. You know the Babylon is in them streets, so I am praying. Pray with your gun out. You know that Babylon to play for keeps, so I am praying. Pray with your gun out. Every day's a test, it's just a test to keep your breath. So I am praying. Pray with your gun out. Keep yourself in check because your vests help your chest. So whilst you pray, boy, whoa, whoa, whoa. Babylon is in them streets, so I am praying. Pray with your gun out. You know that Babylon to play for keeps, so I am praying. Pray with your gun out. Every day's a test, it's just a test to keep your breath, and I'll bless you now. Well, pray with your gun out. Keep yourself in check because your vests help your chest. So whilst you pray, boy, whoa, whoa, whoa. One more, one love. To the Pharaoh.
We need that more TV, more real MCs, more love, more